Alright, this is the Unit 3 closure lesson activity. So let's go through this. Number 1 says plot the points, and please be careful when we do this. A lot of people make mistakes here. It's going to affect the whole rest of these first 5 questions. So -3, 1. I'm going to label that point A. -5, 4. Label that point B. -5, 1, call that C, and -3, 4, call that D. Okay, so here's my original image here. Okay. And then it says reflect over the y-axis. Okay, so from the y-axis to D is 1, 2, 3 points, so we're going to go 3 points this direction, and I will call that D prime. And then it's 5 spaces for B, call that B prime, and then A, also it's A prime and C prime. Okay. Reflected it over the y-axis. Okay. Then we're going to translate to the left 7 spaces and down 8 spaces and call these double primes. So let's just take this point D. So we're going to go to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, down 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Okay. And that's D double prime. And then B, same thing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Let me just double check I went too far. 7, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it should be right there, sorry. B double prime. Okay. And then I can shift these other ones. These are just 3 below it. Okay, so C double prime and A double prime. And then it says rotate 90 degrees. So I'm going to go ahead and use my patty paper for this. Okay. So take my patty paper, put it on. I'm going to mark the origin. I'm going to mark the y-axis so I know how far it went. That's going to be D, B, A, and C. So to rotate 90 degrees, I'm going to put my pencil on the origin. I got to turn this thing 90 degrees. So I'm going to go 1 turn, okay? And it says counterclockwise, so that's to the left. So I went this way, okay? And then I come over here, and I'm going to mark these. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I'll pick that up. Call that A triple prime. Then that's C triple prime. And then D triple prime, and B triple prime. Okay. And then I'll find the area of that particular shape. So it's going to be a 2 by 3, so that's 6, or I can just count the boxes, and that's 6 units squared. Moving up here, write an equation of a line if it passes the point -10, 12 and is perpendicular. Okay, so it's perpendicular to this line. So this line's slope is -2/1. Okay, that's the one that was given to me. I want one that's perpendicular to that. So the slope that I'm going to use is going to be the opposite reciprocal. So I will flip this upside down. Okay, that's a reciprocal. And then the opposite part is to make it positive. So I'm going to use +1/2 and use this point right here. So I'm going to plug this into y equals mx plus b, or my slope-intercept form. And I'll say that's my y value, and that's my x value. So I'm going to say 12 equals the slope times the x value plus b. And I got to figure out b so I can go back and plug in right here for my actual answer. So then I'm going to put this over 1, so I'll get -10/2 plus b. Then I'll get 12 equals -5 plus b. Right? So I put it over 1, multiply straight across, and then add a 5 to both sides. So I come up here and I get 17 equals b. So there's my b, and there's my m. So my final answer is y equals 1/2 x plus 17. That is my answer right there. All right. Looking at number 7, it says the same thing, but this time it's parallel. Okay. So this is the slope that they gave me. Okay, and when slopes are parallel, or lines are parallel, they have the same slope. So I'm going to use this slope right here. So I'm going to do the same process, okay, but I am going to use the same slope. So I'm going to say that's my x and that's my y. So 5 equals the slope they gave me times that point right there, which is -10. I'm going to put it over 1. Okay, and I'll get -20 over 5, multiplying straight across. -4 plus b, add 4, and b equals 9. Okay, so now I can write my final answer. Y equals slope plus the b. Okay. Yeah. All right, come down. Write them as a sum using the area model. So this one we use our boxes. So I got 1 term times 2 terms, so that would be a 2 times 1, so I'm going to write it like this. Okay, now I'm multiplying. Okay, when I put stuff in the box, there's this 2x squared and 3x. None of those are alike, so I'll just rewrite my final answer. Okay, I got 2 terms times 2 terms, so this will be a 4x4 box. So I'm going to multiply and fill in the boxes. Okay. Now, when I take stuff out of the box, I'm going to combine like terms. So look at these two are alike. So I'm going to get x squared, 6 negatives and 4 positives is 2 negatives minus 24. That's my final answer. Over here I got 2 terms times 2 terms as well. And negative. So make sure you don't lose your signs there. See, that's negative, so I get 4x squared negative 5x y, up here negative 28x, and down here positive 35. None of those are alike, so I'm just going to rewrite it. I'll have 4 terms. So this should be plus 35. Okay. All right, let's move to the second page. Alright, so we have a pattern here. So what we have to do is, how is the pattern growing? Okay, we need to include 0 in there. So let's just see if we can see. Here, if I look at from figure 1 and figure 2, so this was the figure from before. Okay, so just kind of coloring those in. So it looks like we added 2. Okay, and then this is the figure from figure 2. Yeah, so they're adding 2 every time. So if I go back, take off 2, it's just going to be, you know, one kind of cube there. Okay, so how is it growing? Increasing by 2. So in figure 0 we had 1 cube, and in figure 1 we had 3 cubes, and in figure 2 we had 5, in figure 3 we had 7, and in figure 4, if I keep the pattern going, I'll have 9. Okay, graph the values on the table, and then write a linear equation. So this will be my figure number down here. Okay, and this will be the number of cubes. Okay. So 0, 1, 1, 3, 2, 5, 3, 7, and 4, 9. Okay. And we'll go ahead and draw a line. So I graph, now I got to write a linear equation. So to write my linear equation, I need to know, like this. So b is my initial value when I start at 0. So there's my b right there. So it's going to be a 1. So b is a 1. And my slope is going to be 2, but I can check it again, kind of looking at it this way. Right? Change in y over the change in x, which is 2. Right? So it's going to be y equals 2x plus 1. And then the last one is, what is figure 30? So you can see here, I don't have enough room in my graph to figure it out. So remember, figures, okay, the figures are my x values, and the number of cubes are my y values. So I'm just going to plug that into the function. And I'm going to say y equals 2 times 30. Right, because that would be my figure number. And so I get y equals 60 plus 1, and then y equals 61. So it would be 61 cubes in figure 30 would be my answer. Okay, looking at exponents. So this is a multiplication question here. So when I multiply like terms, I multiply the coefficients. Those are the numbers in the front. So I get negative 20. And then I get x to the third times x to the negative 7. Then remember, the shortcut for multiplying variables is to add the exponents. So 7 negative, that's going to be negative 4. We don't want to leave these with negative powers. So this is a negative number, not a negative. So that stays on the numerator, and anything with a negative power is going to drop. So we end up with that. Next question. So here we got power to a power. So I have to do the exponent here first and here. So this is going to be 3 to the third. And I'm going to multiply these exponents, as the shortcut tells me. So I got x to the 12th, y to the 0. 3 times 0 is 0. And then over here, it's going to be x to the negative 10, and then y to the negative 6. Sorry, negative 30. Okay. So I'm going to get 27 x to the 12th, y to the 0, times x to the negative 10, y to the negative 30. So remember, anything to the 0 power is just 1. So that's just a 1 right there. So it's going to be 27 because there's no other numbers. X to the 12th, and then is going to be x to the 2nd. Okay, and then y to the negative 30. And then rewriting it with no negative powers. Okay. And then coming down, so now we're going to do some evaluating. So we got some mixes, and we're going to add here. So the first thing we're going to do is get a common denominator. So, sorry, the first thing I'm going to do is get a mixed number and turn this into an improper fraction. So I'm going to get negative 18. 2 times that is 18 plus 8. Okay, so worry about the negative afterwards. So 18, 26 over 9 minus 15, 16 over 3. So remember, you multiply by the bottom number and add the numerator, and then keep the same denominators. So when I'm doing this, I got to get common denominators. So I'm going to make, it's going to be 9. So I'm going to multiply by 1, which is 3 over 3. Minus, and then 16 times 3, I believe is 42. Oh, 48 over 9. Okay, I can add the opposite, and then I get 74 over 9 negative. Right, because they're both negatives. Okay, and nothing will reduce there. Okay. Then we're going to look at multiplying here, and I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing and turn them into improper fractions. So I'm going to get 25 over 3 times 22 over 5 negative. And multiplying, you just multiply straight across. So I get 25 times 22 is negative 550 all over 15. You can definitely take a 5 out of that. Okay. So I end up with negative 110 over 3. Okay. Stop right there. So this next one has the same numbers, so I'm just going to rewrite the same improper fractions. All right. But this is division, so remember you have to multiply by the reciprocal instead. So then I'll multiply here, okay? Then I get 125, top of negative 66. Okay. I don't think anything's going to divide out of that, and so there's my answer.